YouTube. Welcome back in between chapters. It's Regina. Hey, so I didn't forget Black History Month, so I want to share with you some books that I have from my personal library and then some books that I picked up from a thrift store. Other books I've purchased in my library. So I just wanted to share with you so that maybe you get some good reads going on. And just because, Black History Month, quote unquote, is over on the 28th, it doesn't have to be. You continue to read these as through the rest of the month, through the rest of the year. Okay? And so the first book I want to share with you is titled More Like Wrestling by the author Danielle Smith. And this book is basically about two sisters, Paige and Pinch. They both, it actually going to chronologically go through their life of they hit a lot of bumps around the road. There's a lot of things that happen to one of the sisters. Another sister blames the other for the life that they led. And it was just, I think this is a very good read. It actually gets into choices that they make, the reasons they made these choices. I really thought this was a really great book, and I don't remember where I purchased this. This was a long time ago, so I don't remember. But it's really good. Let me just read the synopsis for you. So, it's a coming-of-age story based in Oakland, California. A beautiful, crumbling city has transformed by a dark temptation of its underworld. And as they grow from girls to women, the sisters are confronted with a series of surprising reversals, such as death, disaster, and maybe love. It forces them to come to grips with the truth about the decisions and choices that they have made. So I know, like, with the synopsis, it's probably like, oh, girl, I don't know, this is not, it's really a good read. So if you're interested in that, you can go and either pick it up from your local library, see if they may have it, or you can also go to your local bookstore and try to purchase this. This is a really good read. Next book I really love. This is one of my favorites, and it's called The Other Westmore. Okay, this is based on a true story about two kids who were named Wes Moore, and one grew up to be a Rhodes Scholar, and the other one was a convicted murderer. And so basically this story takes place in Baltimore, and what happens is the story will tell you the life of both Wes Moore, and how one Wes Moore, based on their environment, how they turned and became who they were, and then how the other Wes Moore. And then it also tells you some of the similarities. Both men were raised without a father. So it has you thinking, and not also just giving you an idea of other people in their worlds and challenges that they may have faced, being two Black young men in Baltimore without having a father in the household. So I think this is a really interesting read, and this book is almost everywhere, so you can definitely find it. I think I purchased this one at a thrift store. I'm not sure. I think so. So get you this. Next is also a coming-of-age story, and it's about a little girl named Lena. And the title of this story is Baby of the Family by Tina McElroy Ansa. And I read it halfway through. I don't know why. I don't know. Something happened in life where I just stopped reading it. But I think this is really good for people who this is more like it's a novel, and Lena is born in Georgia, and the nurses who helped her mother through labor noticed that Lena has a very special gift and that she is a special child. So in the book, Lena finds out that she is able to see the non-living, and she is able to communicate with them. So it goes on how she grows up, and how she deals with her family. Her mother does not believe in such things. So this is kind of a nice spin because you don't really see a lot of what I wouldn't call it sci fiction or whatever, but you just don't really hear a lot of stories. Now you do, but before, when this book was out, you didn't hear too much about black characters going on to the other side, or seeing dead folks, because black people don't play that. We not down with ghosts and all that other stuff. Well, let me say some. But so this is kind of unique if you like that spin on it, and I think this is really good. So even though I stopped, I guess I'll pick it back up and read it again. So I think I purchased this at a at a yard sale. I think I remember. Yeah. So that's that book. Try to pick that up. Next book is Serious Business. I don't care what nationality you are, race, whatever. This is history. Everyone should have read the book, The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass. This is so important. I hope that you get a chance to read this, get it from your local library, purchase it. I think I purchased this. I think I purchased this at Barnes and Nobles. I'm not sure, but I think I purchased this at Barnes and Nobles. Very great book. It has great insight on what it was like during that time of slavery, how he taught himself to read and write, the Civil War. This is a very, very powerful book. If you have children, teenagers, they need to read this book. Nieces, nephews, you yourself, you need to read this book. It's a short read. I'm sure you can get through this within 3 weeks. You can probably finish this book. It gives you so much insight and about the struggles and just the fight of it all, going through slavery, and this is very important. So please, please, please try to put that on your TBR and try to get that read, okay? Next book is a little bit light, and I think this is pretty good for middle graders, and it actually is a middle grader book, and it's called Bud Not Buddy. I remember reading this. I purchased this from the thrift store. I remember reading this when I was in school, so I think it's really great. It's about, it takes place in Flint, Michigan, and it's about a boy named Bud Caldwell, and his mother didn't tell him anything about his father, and he got a clue that his father is actually a musician, and he plays in a famous band called the Dusky Devastators of the Depression, and so he's taking off, not telling his mother nothing. Nope, he's leaving. He packed his little suitcase, and he's going to go off to see and meet his father, and he's not going to let nothing stop him. So you go along on his journey. It's a mixture of comedy, but it's really good, and I think this is an excellent read for a middle grader. Read it first for yourself, so that way you can explain and discuss with your child or your niece or nephew or whatever little person you have. Explain to them some of the subtitles and what they mean in the story. Yeah. So I think this is a really good book. Oh, sorry. Yes. Christopher Paul Curtis is the author. So, last but not least, this author is one of my favorite authors, one of my favorite Black authors, and rest in peace. He is no longer with us. He passed away. He passed away. But man, I had no business reading his books at the age that I was, but he captivated me with his words and just his storyline, his plot, the setting, everything. I mean, you felt like you were a part of his of the story, the emotions, everything, even the mannerisms of his characters. Like, he hit it down to the point. And so I saved this for last. This is I read this book. It's probably a little too risque for some, but his other books, please explore his other books. No other than Eric Jerome Dickey, and this is called The Blackbirds. Now, I read this book. It can. Let me not say it can. Okay, it has a lot of erotic things going down in the book. Okay, so it's about four sisters. Let me read it to you because I read it wrong. They call themselves the Blackbirds. They're four best friends who are closer than sisters, and they go to the ends of the earth for one another. Yet even their deep bond can't heal all wounds from their individual past. Trying to forget her cheating ex-fiance, Kawanza becomes entangled with a wicked one-night stand, a man who turns out to be 1 in 5 million. Indigo is an endless on-again, off-again relationship with her football player boyfriend. And in her time between dysfunctional relationships, she pursues other naughty desires. So yeah, this book in particular is a bit risque, a bit erotic, but these are one of his books. But if you search Eric Jerome Dickey, his other book, his other many other stories that he has written are wonderful, and it's really good with like just being able to read about these different relationships and how people you just become emotionally attached to the characters. He also has his other, like Milk in His Coffee, Between Sisters. I'm so sad that he is like gone. He was just too young to pass away. Here go a list of some of his other books. Drive Me Crazy. The Other Woman is great. If you ever had somebody, cheat on you, that's the book you want to read. It's called The Other Woman. It gives you the perspective of the other woman. I know it ain't no excuse why you being a side chick, but this lady who was a side chick takes you through all the choices and the reasons why she made these choices, the reason why she was seeking out these married men. Girl, it's good. So the other woman, Between Lovers, that's what it is. I don't know why I said Between Sisters, whatever. Between Lovers, great story. Liar's Game, wonderful. Milk in My Coffee, excellent. It's about an interracial couple, so you need to read that. Friends and Lovers, that's what it was. Sister. I have read so many of his books, and they are wonderful. And in celebration of Black History Month, read one of his books, one of his works. I absolutely love the cover. I wonder if this was the last book. I think this might have been his last book, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I have to see, but it might be his last book. But go ahead and get you an Eric Jerome Dickey book. Read it, borrow it from a friend. It's really good. This one, like I said, may not be everyone's cup of tea because it does have a lot of erotic scenes in the story, like a lot. Like it, it's on chapter 1, and then it keeps going. It skips chapter 2, then it's on chapter 3, and then chapter 4. So I mean, if that's not your cup of tea, then try to read some of his other books, which are a little bit more settled, and they're more about relationships and things of that nature. But I still love this book, and I love his writing. So it's just so sad he is gone. So there's many more books. Don't ever think that you should only take a glance at Black authors' work during just the month of February? No. Try to get a chance to read a Black author's book, and just get out there. Trust me, now there's more exposure than ever before. I know a lot of people have content where there's like sci-fi with Black authors writing sci-fi, Black authors writing adventure books and different things like that. Awesome. So we have more, it's more exposure. So get out there, read something enjoyable, something that a topic you would like. Read something that's factual, something like an autobiography. Please, 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 please. It's so important to read history so that you can truly get an understanding in a sense of what's happening in this country. Like mostly things that have happened, especially during slavery and things of those natures. Even though I know it can be triggering to some, it's important to look at the past. Even if you may feel like, oh, it's going to trigger and things of that, you can put the book down and like take a breather or two, but it's important. And it's important to tell your children about how America had become what it is, a great country. But we need to be honest with our children. We need to be honest with just our friends and let them know, like, hey, America, we have done some dirty stuff. We have done some really bad things. And, you have to look at that like a part of slavery. The people who have went through slavery, that's traumatic. That's PTSD. Think about people who have went through Hurricane Katrina, PTSD. So when you have that and you have people who are, you may say, well, you're only 20 something years old. You haven't been through slavery. So why are you? It comes down and it stems from generation after generation. So it can happen that way when you have a great grandmother who's telling you stories about what she has seen in the South, what people have done to her. Her fears become their fears. The children's fears become their children's fears now. So you have to really look at it as a whole and not just put it to the side and say, well, that was back then and I don't want to read about it. I don't want to know about it. That's just plain ignorance, So it's just important to try and look at the facts, read your history. It's so important to read your history and learn about your history. And you don't always want to just start at slavery and end at slavery. No, there's so much more that went on beyond slavery. There's so many things that happened before slavery. So those things are very important. I just think, please, please, please just go out there and get some books, learn some history, and have just get a better overall understanding of Black history, and more than Black athletes and things of that nature. There's a lot of people, African Americans, who have done great things, some who are behind the scenes, who we never heard of before. So, and it shouldn't take a movie for you to realize, oh, there was a Black lady, there was Black women who worked at NASA. No, read a book. Read a book. Okay, so I'm not gonna stay long. I'm gonna try to, I hate to keep saying I'm gonna try. It's just so much going down. But I will see you again, and put in the comment some stories and some books that you have read that was just great and you think it's important that everyone should read. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you back soon. I don't have a date. I don't know. I gotta get it together, y'all. I gotta get it together. But have a good night and check back with me.